Hello and welcome to the Dad and Sons podcast, where the only thing crazier than American electoral politics is the price we could get you for a t-shirt. I'm George Weedman, and I'm with Liam Edwards and Matt Visual.
Hello there.
Hello. Hi.
And we're here to offer up one of our stylish new long-sleeve t-shirts for free.
That's right. We're doing a Dad and Sons competition. Probably the first and last ever. If you would like to potentially win one of the stylish, brand new Dad and Sons shirts.
Oh, man.
Where's the script at? I don't see the script.
It's on the outline. It's in the...
That's right. We're doing the Dad and Sons long sleeve t-shirt contest. Probably the first and last ever Dad and Sons contest. All you have to do to enter to win one of our brand new stylish Dad and Sons Dad Select long sleeve shirts from our friends T Republic is, first of all, follow Dad and Sons Pod at Twitter. We will be checking. Secondly, and most importantly, is we want you to tweet a photo of yourself listening to the Dad and Sons podcast on your audio listening devices from anywhere, any place in the world. Could be the most interesting or most boring photo possible.
Just send...
How about you give us some example? Oh, no, George.
Oh, is that what I'm supposed to do?
Just send us a pic of your mobile device, your iPod Shuffle, or your Microsoft Zune, whatever it is you use, tuned into Dad and Sons with something interesting going on in the background.
Yeah, take one in the desert at a funeral. We would love to see everything. And then George says, but wait, there's more.
But wait! But wait, there's more!
Oh my God!
We'll also be throwing in a free code for your choice of one of our choices of some very choice indie games from this choice year. We're giving away codes for either Hades, Noita, or Ikenfell to the best, the funniest, the sexiest picture we get, and we will be debating live on Twitch over which one will be the winner of this t-shirt and this game code.
We don't want to give codes that you already have. So, let us know what you have, I guess. Pick the other two.
Where will the other two be given away? We have two other codes. What are we going to do with them?
We're going to give them out in the Clustercast 2021.
That's right, Pat. We're celebrating the end of 2020 because there's absolutely nothing more worthy of celebration coming up. In a couple weeks in early January, we're going to be... For fuck's sake, I'm actually totally serious when I say that in a couple weeks in early January, we are going to be hosting our second ever live stream episode on twitch.tv/SuperBunnyHop. And that's how we're going to be doing the Dad Awards this year. It's going to be live during that stream, during this giveaway.
That's right, celebrating our 150th time together. We will have audience interaction, face cams of the three dads, a temporary phone number for call-ins, which is no doubt going to be a disaster, and of course, giveaways. It'll be fun.
I'm going to try to get my green screen set up in the background and wear, a nice fancy tux for the awards ceremony. Well, I said green screen, but really we're actually going to rent out a convention center to host the ceremony. It's a very illustrious, prestigious program, the Dad Awards, the third ever.
We will be the first ever video game convention back after Corona.
Wow.
I'm dying, guys. And not of bad reasons. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we made it through that. How are you guys feeling now? Are we able to keep a straight face?
We gotta get Rad Dad back in here to cringe on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Just live cringe is always good.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
I feel like the word perfect has quite an open-ended definition all of a sudden. You know what is perfect? And you know what I'm sure was very, very fun to edit and put together?
Cyberpunk footage.
Oh, yeah, because, if you're making a Cyberpunk review, you have to edit together all the trailers instead of the stuff you recorded yourself.
Oh, man.
So we're going to be doing Cyberpunk for the news section this week. Big surprise there. And the second least surprising topic of this week is that we're probably going to end up spending a good chunk of our small talk section here talking about El Mandorino, the Mandalorian.
El Mando.
Yeah, we're talking about the Mandalorian. It's good.
It's really good. It's really, really good. Season 2.
I can't get over how good it was.
Oh man, I'm so glad we can all talk. It's amazing. We've all finished a show together, and it's not Agaretsuko. And we didn't have to blackmail somebody to support the Patreon to actually finish it.
I had a fun, smooth time throughout it. I didn't have to tear myself away from the phone as it was happening. It was good stuff. It was good stuff.
Wait, you finished it? You started and finished it, George? In a couple days?
Yeah. I watched
all of that, but you can't watch a fucking anime?
No, because Mandalorian's way fucking better than most anime.
There we go. That's the title of the episode.
That is not fucking true. In the slightest. What the fuck? Not to say Mandalorian is not good. It's just not. It's not amazing.
It's not Attack on Titan season 5 good, is it, Matt?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Let's be honest. It's not. You don't see a guy flipping around, being mad about someone who died and like ripping through huge fucking flesh. Flesh is walking around. You know, Mando can't do that. Even though there were some really good episodes this season.
That's what I like about Mando.
It was really it was better than last season. I'll say
Agreed. 100%. Season 2 is by far
the better season. Yeah,
the better
things are
season.
set up now, which could lead into why it's better. But still, like I feel like the action scenes, just little things were just a bit better because it still feels like you're watching TV. It still feels that way. Not to say it's bad. It just feels like you're watching a fucking TV show.
But that TV show you're watching is so much fucking better than 6 of the 8, than 7 of the 9 Star Wars movies.
Oh, okay.
I think this is the best like Star Wars audiovisual media since Empire Strikes Back. Like I like this. I think as an adult who cringes at the cringy moments in Star Wars, I think I'm going to like this in the future more than all the other movies, besides Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is great. The Mandalorian is great. The other movies, I think, kind of sort of debatable. But I fucking adore how much more understated and subtle this is. Like, there's so many scenes where the characters don't say anything, and they just totally show instead of tell what's going on. These beautiful montages of him riding across the desert.
I mean, it's a show about a man with essentially no face, right? So that already tells you everything about it that you can hold a show based on lots of close-ups of basically a man with no face. And that is how just brilliant this show is. It's so good.
Oh, you know what? I gotta say, since we're gonna talk about Mando, Bill Burr was fucking awesome in second season. Holy shit, was he fucking good.
Very good.
And Rosario Dawson, like, it's such an ensemble cast too. Like, Carl Weathers was directing a good chunk of the episode. I couldn't believe how many names you can recognize.
It's just an amazing season throughout. I think one of the things that makes this season better than the first season is there are a lot more threads that tie to the Star Wars universe. And that's not to say we're hitting on nostalgia, because it's people outside of like the general Star Wars, apart from the last episode.
It's TV shows. Yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's like little bits per episode now that tie up towards the final couple of episodes that get really nice and tidied up. Where in the first season, you didn't really have any of that. It was all new characters, little baby Yoda, baby Grogu, which is a funny name. That aside, there's a lot more threads tying it to the greater Star Wars universe. And I think that was enticing, but the way they did it with characters who may be lesser known, Ahsoka Tano being one of them, who is amazing. As George pointed out, Rosario Dawson was just amazing. And the first time you get to see a lightsaber in the whole series, and she's just destroying people in a forest. And it's so good. It's so good.
Looks like they're playing Hunt Showdown. Yeah, and the visual motifs I thought were like really pretty throughout the whole series too. A lot of the episodes seem to have like themes that call back to old genres. The first episode where he's hunting the crate dragon is totally a spaghetti western.
It's so good, that episode, and you forget by the end of that series that episode happened this season, because every episode following on from that just continually like not gets bigger but gets almost better. It's so weird. There's not very many lulls throughout the whole season. It just keeps bouncing back and forth. It's pretty amazing.
Is it just me? Okay, it can't just be me. The episode with Ahsoka Tano was totally like a medieval Asian war movie, right? like all the reds. There was a pagoda looking space wall. There's this beautiful little Japanese garden. They have a sword duel in at the end, and all these long quiet shots before someone suddenly slashes a sword and chaos breaks out. Like, it's cheesy and archetypical, but in a way that makes it feel familiar and comfy, because the cinematography and the dialogue that they ham this stuff up in is just so well done. And those scenes of quietness, the long, quiet drags, are absolutely my favorite thing, because the movies never do that. It's a totally different sense of pacing. It's not a super duper fast roller coaster ride for, nonstop manic action for the kids. Like, it's quiet.
Yeah, but even in the original trilogy, right, there is moments of peace. Like, the galaxy is quiet, right? Whether it's Vader standing on like the landing deck of the entire Empire fleet, and he's just looking out into space, or like being in Dagobah, or being in Tatooine. There are moments of peace, and it's like one thing that Star Wars always tries to convey to make it seem bigger is the fact that these characters are just one small, tiny part of this larger universe, and having those pieces of quiet reflects a lot of that. And I don't think Mando necessarily is trying to say that in the same thing. Obviously, most of this takes place in the Outer Rim, which is also great because it's the areas where the New Republic and the Empire have barely touched. So it's like this kind of like unique like outlaw zone where things just still, like the fact that for most of it, Mando doesn't even know what the Force is, but he says, "May the Force be with you" once. Like, it's just a cliche catchphrase because he's heard it, is amazing.
I love how trashy all the sets look. Like, I adore that. These long montages where there's not a lot being said, they had my mind racing with implications about what's going on. Like, there's a slum in one of those first episodes. It might have been the second episode that's covered in graffiti. And it looks like a chunk of downtown Athens that I remember, where just every single surface, floor, wall, even a bit of ceiling, is covered in incredibly messy, scribbly, handwritten graffiti. And in the first season, we spent an episode in a village that was kind of sort of stuck in a Stone Age in the Star Wars universe. And I was like, whoa, is there really like people living in wooden huts surviving on fish in the Star Wars universe? And now knowing that there's like graffiti in the Star Wars universe makes it feel so much more nasty and relatable. And there are these scenes where like people are fighting with spears, wooden spears with metal tips, while riding on these fancy anti-gravity floating platforms. And it establishes almost like new rules to the universe, I feel like, where they've like canonized that the engines behind the technology is really, really great, but there's definitely some shortages and subsistence and serious ass poverty going on that is still like breaking it up to another level that I think is even more intense than the first one.
It definitely takes the parts of Star Wars that, when you go to Tatooine, it's sandy and just everybody's poor and there's nothing around, everything's broken and dusty. It takes that, but like molds it into different places and how it would feel like. What about tribes in the forest? Or what would it be like to be basically under a dictatorship in your own planet? It's pretty amazing how it bounces between all these different places, and they have such a different vibe to the next place they go.
And it seems like no matter where they end up, the build quality and cleanliness of everything is kind of shitty.
Well, that's what they say about the Outer Rim.
Like those prequel scenes that you spin in Coruscant, where everything looks like a 1960s sci-fi, like smooth and shiny and curvy, is such a different world than what we're seeing here. This shit's nasty.
It is pretty crazy. The one thing I'm interested to know, like, Matt, you watch TV more than both of us. Like, you're a resident Netflix and chill. How does it actually stack up to like TV shows in general?
It's all right. Like, it's not bad. It's just that it's probably the best Star Wars you're gonna get. TV shows. That's really where Star Wars has always been, and better than Rogue One. If you wanted that, like, not Jedi story.
I do like Rogue One though.
Yeah. Like, then it's even like it's in that space, and how do I explain it? Like, it's for fun, I wouldn't expect to look too deep into this, right? Like, it's for fun. Like, you look at it, it's a cool Star Wars shit to watch. Like, and that's okay. For me, that's okay. Villain of the week type shit. Like it's totally okay. Like it's not like a masterpiece.
Because I do feel
It's
sometimes,
not.
yeah, that's the thing is like sometimes I feel like I think it's a good TV show. I do. I think it elevates that. But I think the Star Wars blindness elevates it above to what if it was just a normal gun.
Star Wars is fucking magic.
Yeah.
Star Wars is fucking magic. Yeah.
So if it was a normal gunslinger like show, it probably wouldn't be like the most talked about thing, right? Of course.
It would not be. No. But it's Star Wars that's actually not shit. So
I feel like there was some emotional depth to the exploration of the relationship between Mando and Baby Yoda in the last 2 episodes that was like genuinely meaningful and important to explore. I don't know if it was just pure fun entertainment from beginning to end. Like it's so lonely and thoughtful and darker, but still a wholesome, gold-hearted adventure that I don't know if it was just simple entertainment. I feel
I'm not saying it's
like
a
I
bad
learned
thing.
something
I'm
about
just saying it's not the best fucking thing since sliced bread. It's an okay show. It's you don't watch a lot of shows, George.
I just don't like sliced bread anymore. I don't like sliced bread. Doesn't taste as good as it used to. And
listen, it doesn't. All because I say it's just a show doesn't take away that there's some emotional like moments. You know what I'm saying? I still think Bill Burr was like the fucking most fantastic shit that was the most real shit that I've seen. When they go to the prison, I was like, holy shit. Like the acting there was actually like, I wish there was more of that from a fucking comedian, which it seems to be right. Most comedians can act.
He does a good job, but it's like the scene where they're talking to the like whatever he's called, like the general from the Empire or whatever, and
the Moff.
No, not Grand Moff, just the dude, and Mando has his helmet off, and like the acting,
and he's being weird because he's supposed to be weird.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be weird, and he's amazing. But Bill Burr, like the emotion that's building up in him about his dead comrades and everything. My god! And then just like when he shoots him, and Mando, you can see Mando's face for the first time react to somebody being shot and being surprised, and you're like, "Oh shit, this is
such a good moment."
Oh god, that's an amazing scene. That is an amazing scene.
There are 2 scenes in the end where some villains just straight up explain how fascism works, and then get shot in the face midway through the speech, and it is the most satisfying moment. It's like Metal Gear Solid 3, an incredibly despicable villain you just absolutely fucking hate. The most gratifying justice comes to them at the most gratifying moment possible, and it feels good to cheer for these heroes and good to jeer at it's just good.
It just tells me, George, that I need to find your flavor and get you more of it. Because if you like that, then you should enjoy some more shows, man. There's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of shit, right, Liam? You watch some shit.
There is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing, you can separate it between like the classics of TV, right? Or like TV shows that really grip you. And then this being a good show elevated by the fact that it is Star Wars, but it's very well done Star Wars, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's classy. The sets are amazing. The acting, I think, is actually really good. The one person I think who lets down the entire thing, well, actually, there's 2. I think the female rebel trooper, I don't think she's a very good actress. Sorry.
But she's built like a fucking tank, man.
She definitely is in the second season, isn't she?
God damn.
Yeah.
That's Wonder Woman right there. Jesus Christ.
I like her. I can't remember her name.
I think she was better in the first season. The second season, she was a little. She's like
gun ho, kind of like it doesn't feel very rebel, like almost kind of villainous a little bit sometimes. Surprisingly, I think the Grand Moff. I think Gideon.
I mean, he's always good.
But I actually didn't think he was very good in this. I think he's almost comedic, like not very scary. He's like, you know, when he puts Baby Yoda in handcuffs, and you're like, what the fuck? Why? What? And he's holding like a darksaber above his head. Like,
see, that's a problem with the show, and those are the nitpicks that I rather just not bring up. Like, it's just because it's just a fucking show. Like, if you nitpick it like that, like, it's just like you could go down a fucking rabbit hole with that with the Mandalorian.
I don't think it's necessarily nitpicking. I think just he specifically, I was surprised considering he didn't have that much screen time, and then when he wasn't like. I was expecting Gustavo Frings. I was expecting that level of like monstrosity a little bit. And I think that's maybe the problem with being typecasted as a villain like he is.
Yeah.
The fact that he was almost comedically stupid sometimes. I don't think it was. I think he was a bit weak, especially when you got Bill Burr and then you got, Mando doing his thing. I think Boba Fett was amazing too, considering it's, the guy returning to play Boba Fett. And
yeah.
Didn't look like what I expected Boba Fett to look like. I thought there would be more scars.
It's him it's the first time you've seen him after he's been eaten by the Sarlacc.
So what did you guys think Boba Fett would look like under the helmet?
Well, you remember what he looks like because he's a clone. You see you see hundreds of thousands of him
sexy
in the original the prequels.
Yeah, but that's not the Boba Fett, like the Sarlacc-eaten, stoic, silent, imperial bounty hunter that we saw in the original trilogy. I was imagining someone a lot less talkative with a lot more scars on his
he did
face.
have a lot of scars on his face, didn't he? But he's Jango Fett, right? But, a bit more stoic. I think he was pretty cool. I think considering he hasn't had his army, he's probably got used to showing his face for a while and talking to people. I thought he was good. I don't know how they're going to make a Book of Boba Fett as good as the Mandalorian was. And if I could just have season 3 Mando instead, I would, because I really like the Mando.
It's the woman that they saved. She's like half robot now.
Yeah.
That's with Boba Fett. I've watched so many shows, so many bad sci-fi shows with her in it that I cannot separate her from it. Because she acts the exact same way. There's stuff like that just always makes me think of Mando.
Okay.
Of that sci-fi junk.
You're talking like Babylon 5, Stargate SG, like those types of...
She's just that character. She's not good.
It does remind me a little bit of like that.
She's not good.
It's definitely the best of those, I think.
Yes. That's why I hold on to moments like when it's only Mando and Bill Burr or little stuff like that where like it actually gets serious and you actually feel something when it gets serious. There's like really good action scenes for sure that's shot like almost perfect. It still feels like a TV show, but it's almost perfect. Like the beginning scene of season 1 was like fucking good. Like the whole first section was like, but I gotta remember John, the director, he did fucking Lion King, so I can't really expect much from him.
Yeah. Well, he did Iron Man too, so I mean.
And which was
balance apples and oranges.
Yeah. They can't all be good, right? So somebody's got to make mistakes.
Well, they can't all be good, but they're all moneymakers.
They are.
Like if you look at Jon Favreau's filmography, like this guy just bleeds money. Like he sweats money. When he goes to the shower, he has to rinse it off. It comes out of his skin. This is a guy who had a huge hand in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. The Lion King remake, as bad as it was, is for some reason still one of the most highest grossing movies of all time. So they're laughing their way to the bank with that one.
It's fucking Lion King, man. It's Lion King.
Yeah.
He did Elf.
He did Elf?
So like, yeah, he did Elf.
He did? Director? Oh my God, he did. Jesus. He fucking did Elf.
Can I just talk about two things that amaze me? One is I think Baby Yoda Grogu is fucking amazing. And I could literally watch that kid and Mando forever. The puppeteering, I have no idea how they specifically doing it.
No, I think it's CGI. It's CGI. They make it look like a puppet.
No, it's a puppet. It's an animatronic puppet. The behind the scenes of the first season, they already show it. It's a completely animatronic puppet.
whenever it moves around, you never see it move around by itself. There's always a hole in the set for someone to stick their hand through.
The Baby Yoda puppet from The Mandalorian costs $5 million to make, supposedly.
And it is just as impressive a bit of puppetry and effects and crafting as like the original Yoda puppet from the 80s.
It is complete animatronics. I mean, probably with CGI on top.
Look up Baby Yoda CGI. Baby Yoda is fucking CGI.
No, I just did. It cost $5 million to make. It's animatronics.
No.
All right. Newsweek is going to settle this argument.
I'm looking at it. I'm reading it.
CGI for the action-packed scenes early in the first season. Handful of shots where it wasn't. Okay, so it was puppet.
So the puppet was designed by Legacy Effects and cost about $5 million to make. It is controlled by 2 technicians, one who operates the eyes and mouth, and another who controls other facial expressions. The character's voice and sounds were created using a combination of adult and infant vocals, as well as recordings of a bat-eared fox and a King Kajo. I don't know what that is.
Dude, Werner Herzog fell in love with that puppet.
I imagine they definitely use CGI for some parts, especially when he's walking.
No, they did
like
use CGI for some parts, like a lot of, like all the action stuff.
It's a phenomenal technological achievement. It's heartbreaking.
Because when it walks and all that type of stuff, they make it look like it's a puppet in CGI.
Yeah. But when he's being held and everything, and which is most of the shot. So when he's sat in the back of the spaceship, he's a complete puppet, and it costs $5 million to make. That is an expensive ass puppet. Can you imagine holding it like as the actor, and you're like, oh fuck, if I drop this?
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. So it says Grogu is mostly the work of an animatronics and puppetry, although it's accentuated with CGI.
Okay.
Imagine that you're working on the set and you like accidentally get some salsa on the puppet and no one notices and it goes live on air and you're the only person in the world who knows that little speck of salsa on his like cheek is yours.
Oh man.
So there's this fun quote here. Episode 3 director Deborah Chow told Vanity Fair, "I had a day with one of the weirdest moments I've ever had directing. I was directing Werner with the puppet, and Werner had just fallen in love with the baby. Werner, I think, had forgotten it wasn't actually a live creature and started sort of directing the baby."
Amazing. So speaking of CGI, the one thing I did want to mention, and I think the final episode could be talked about by itself anyway, because of all the things that happen in it, and of course the huge big reveal. Honestly, if you've listened to this so far and you still care about spoilers, turn away now. The Dark Troopers in the final episode, they start off and you're like, robot troopers, whatever, cool. But the episode spends so long, like a huge amount of the runtime of that show, showing how fucking scary those Dark Troopers look. It is really like close-ups of their eyes, close-ups of their machinery, close-ups of them kicking Mando, like close-ups of them being like cold steel, like killing machines, and they look scary. And then, they get blown off into space and you're like, oh, that was easy. And then they come back and you're like, oh, fuck, these guys mean business. The fact that the show spends so long to show that these things are like gonna kill you. They are killing machines.
T-1000s.
To then show what everybody's always wanted, or what everybody's always wondered, which is fully adult Jedi Luke and how powerful he would be. To then, they spent so long in the episode to purposely show that when Luke comes and defeats all of them, without his hood even falling off, using both his force powers and then also his lightsaber, was, I think, quite masterful. Like, you're wondering, like, oh my god, they're really trying to show, like, these Dark Troopers, like, how scary these motherfuckers are. Like, there's a lot of close-ups of these things. They keep talking about them. They keep going on about how crazy killer-like they are, to then have the one moment where Luke boards the ship, kicks all of their ass, and then comes in, and then reveals some pretty dodgy CGI of his face.
Very dodgy. Worse than the movie.
It's very stiff. I don't know if it's Leia bad, but it was not the best.
It was like a 1D, like painted thing on some guy's face. It was you could noticeable, like when he moved his mouth, it was like moving some of his skin with it.
Yeah.
Like, in a very unnatural way.
It was
I always like watching like the deep fakes of these characters. You ever see those? Every time someone does CGI, they remake it. Like they did for Lion King too.
And someone's like, look how good I could be. And you're like, sure. I think that was pretty masterful of them because everyone wanted to see it. Like everyone was wondering, what is the Jedi that Grogu's calling out to? I didn't actually expect it to be Luke. I thought that wasn't going to happen, but it was pretty crazy. And it goes to show how good they built Grogu and Mando's relationship, because even I didn't want Grogu to go with Luke. Everybody trusts Luke. Everybody loves Luke. But I wanted him to stay with Mando so badly because their relationship is so good that I didn't even want him to go with Luke, of all people. I thought that was really good. It paid off. I thought the last episode was lovely. I really did. I know it's a bit of a fanboy cop-out, but some of the things it does, if you're gonna like, you know, play on people's nostalgia and play on the fact that you have the ability to whip out a character at a moment's notice and just get free positive reception, at least do it nice and classy and respectful. And, you know, the whole thing of building up the Dark Troopers to then Luke kicking their entire ass and then having the moment where you kind of don't want Grogu to go with Luke and Mando taking his helmet off. I thought it was really good. I did really like the last episode. The last episode was like shot up to be one of my favorite things in the entire. Put that with the final scene in Rogue One of Darth Vader coming in and destroying all those people menacingly. Pretty much on the same level for me of like hype Star Wars moments. Not necessarily good TV, but hype Star Wars.
I think the end of the last episode was a little Deus Ex Machina-ish.
I mean, it was always going to happen. They, like, in the 2 episodes before, they're like, he's going to call out to a Jedi. And you're like, oh, well, one of them's going to turn up. Is it going to be Obi-Wan and then take him into hiding? Is it going to be Luke? Who's it going to be?
It felt a little fan servicey.
It did. But that's the thing is, I think if you're going to do it, at least do it well. And I felt like they did it well. Apart from the CGI of his face, I think they did it well.
As a big fan of the 90s expanded universe, I felt like I had an easier time swallowing the fan service pills earlier in the series than the one at the very end. They mentioned Grand Admiral Thrawn.
They did.
They
never showed him though.
But it's not like he showed up in slow motion slashing robots like Luke Skywalker does. I think that's the thing. Like if they said the name Luke Skywalker, him slashing up robots in slow, I think that was maybe what might have put me over the edge in terms of feeling a little more cheese than emotional intensity.
So what do you think they'll do? Do you think they'll do season 3 of Mando where like it's a couple of years in the future and Grogu is like a talking, walking Yoda like Jedi,
so.
And then that him and Mando team up again to take down General Thrawn? Because they definitely threw that name out with the intention of a further season, unless Book of Boba Fett covers it.
I would rather have that than Book of Boba Fett.
I would rather too.
I don't think I'm too super hyped for Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett just kind of looked like an asshole in that teaser after the credits. He, just walked in, killed someone, and sat on a chair, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I like this guy. He is a villain after all. He was a villain in the original series.
Considering he's the original Mando, like he definitely doesn't hold a candle to my new love Mando for sure.
Yeah. The Mandalorian himself is like a hero. Like he helps people out. He holds his word. Boba Fett is like chaotic neutral, you know?
Boba Fett doesn't even have a woo 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 theme. So how can I get on board with that?
Oh, the music too.
That?
The music, it's such a different motif than the John Williams stuff.
Very different.
It doesn't look like Star Wars, it doesn't sound like Star Wars, but it explores the universe in a way that makes me feel like I'm a kid watching Star Wars again.
Yeah. I did. I think we're all pretty in agreement. I definitely think, as Matt has sort of pointed out, it's that it's good TV, but it's not like the best thing ever. Star Wars elevates it to that next level just because it's Star Wars. And considering the Star Wars that we've seen recently has been hot garbage. It is like, oh my God, Lord and Savior has returned to us. Star Wars is great again, to paraphrase a shitty phrase of another human being. So I do wonder where they'll go with this, considering they have so many other spin-offs coming. I wonder if they'll be as non-fan servicey as Mando has typically been with stuff like Obi-Wan and other stuff like that. I kind of want them to continue with like just sprinkling little bits.
Yeah, I want to go on Witcher quests. I don't want
It
to.
basically is side quest the TV show.
I don't want to go on a big grand save the galaxy adventure with force magic. Force magic is my least favorite part of Star Wars.
Apart from when they're trying to take the blood midichlorians from Baby Yoda.
They never said that word. And I wonder how much debate there was in the writing room over it.
Don't say the M word.
I would love to know what writing these episodes is like.
The whole blood storyline was probably the weakest part of it. Like they don't even it doesn't show the blood getting injected into like any of the Dark Troopers or any of those clones that you saw in tubes. Like that definitely didn't really get explored, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, interested to watch more.
Star Wars.
Okay, I'm sure we played video games, but I have a quick story I wanted to share with you guys about something weird going on in my life.
Life story.
And that is how many of my electronics are broken. It's not that exciting of a premise, but I feel like I can make it more exciting through tone. All right, so I've got 4 companies neck and neck racing against each other to replace my electronics. Who's going to be first? We got Joy-Cons, the Valve Index, the PSVR, and my coffee machine, neck and neck on their way to the finish line. So far, the Valve Index is in the head with a solid lead of getting me a new replacement unit in a week and a half without me having to send in the previous one. Nintendo is coming in at a hot good second place, bringing my Joy-Cons back for free after 2.5 weeks. However, they had a very misleading website that sends you to a customer service portal where a human being will want to charge you $80. If you go through an automated, we're going to fix your Joy-Cons portal instead, you can get it done for free with no argument needing to be made whatsoever. And Sony is actually the worst at this, apparently. I put in my request about a month ago for me to get my PSVR repaired. And since it was out of warranty, it cost $130.
Oof.
And they're supposed to mail you a box that you put your unit in, and then they send you another one back in another box. And the box hasn't come yet. My coffee machine has been replaced quicker than Sony can replace the PSVR. The good folks at Hamilton Beach Coffee are more up on their game on customer service than Sony is, and who are lagging behind Nintendo and even Valve here. But, you know, for $1,000 for Valve Index, you expect good customer service and product that maybe doesn't have so many issues.
Video game companies definitely are not well known for their repair policies.
I never, fortunately, have had to make use of them that much, but did you guys ever replace a red-ringed Xbox 360 by chance?
No.
Because I think that's the last time I've done this.
I've only had to send a console back once, and it was the Wii. Do you remember when Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out, and some Wiis could play it, and some couldn't? They needed...
Oh, no. Did you get one of the bad ones?
I did get one of the bad ones, and I had to wait 2 weeks to play the game I bought at midnight because I was so excited. Everybody knows I love Smash, but because I didn't have the dual layer lens or whatever the hell they needed for the replacement of the... that was agony. Absolute agony. That's the only time.
I feel like I've gotten a little lucky because the one and only time before now that I've had to send it back was a red-ringed Xbox. When they were replacing them for free, I got... Wait a second. Now that I think back on it, I think I actually sent it in twice and then just threw it away when it red-ringed the third time. Matt was there when I threw it away.
I fucking hated those things.
You are seriously unlucky. Or is there just something you're doing?
Probably combination.
Well, I feel like if the last time I sent it in was in like 2008, 2009, and it's been 11 years since then, that's not that bad of a luck.
Wait, so when did you throw it out? If 2008, 2009, how long did it last? 10 years? No.
I threw it out around 2013-ish
okay.
when I got my Wii U, because I no longer needed to keep it around as a Bayonetta machine.
Because you were like, the future of gaming is here. My Wii U has arrived. There's definitely no need for an Xbox 360 now.
So long as I have a Bayonetta machine plugged into the TV, I'm good. And Bayonetta's getting ported to everything. Well, Nintendo stuff these days. So I'm good on that front. I no longer need to keep an Xbox 360 around for a Bayonetta machine. I have a PS3 now for a Metal Gear Solid HD collection machine. But yeah, Joy-Cons are like probably the most notoriously failure-prone video game hardware to ship since the Xbox 360. And Nintendo's doing an okay job of replacing them, but the one thing that really does strike me as dirty about what they are doing, they're not being consistent across all their customer service departments. If you go to their website and start a chat with the customer service agent, they'll try to charge you $80 and tell you it's out of warranty. But if you go to a customer service portal they specifically have set up for broken Joy-Cons to get replaced for free, then you're not going to have to deal with that at all. And that makes me wonder how many people are actually paying the $80 fee or just buying a new pair of joysticks rather than doing the right thing and getting them fixed for free. Seems misleading.
I just bought new Joy-Cons when mine started to drift. It's too much of a pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the ass to mail them in, but I don't think I could spend $80 willy-nilly like I could a couple years ago.
Merchandise can be purchased at the Dad and Son store on TeePublic.
Where you can watch us give away that merchandise on the Clustercast 2021 the Dad Awards show in a couple weeks in early January. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about video games on that episode.
Maybe for once.
if you want to come for that.
I'm interested. Actually, wait, before we do move on, I'm just intrigued. As a general count, Matt, did you finish a game this week?
I tried not to, actually, intentionally.
Oh,
hey.
He's outsmarting the game. But did you?
Hell yeah, I feel great.
Did you?
I got really far in Dragon Quest XI.
You fucking bastard.
Really
What
far
the
in.
hell? How many hours?
I would have to log in, but I'm definitely like...
You're going to guess a part-time job's worth.
Yes. Definitely part-time jobs worth. And I was like, and someone on a Discord was like, Spiritfarer. I was like, oh, okay, I try that, downloaded that. Didn't play much, and then a friend wanted to play Outward. So we spent like a day playing that. Like, we just couldn't stop. It's so much more fun with another person. I tried to play that solo a while back, and it was kind of boring. But when you have a second player, it's significantly more fun and more enjoyable because that game is unforgiving. But Dragon Quest is a good polished relic of a game.
Of an ancient time.
Ancient time, man. I don't understand how I've played so much, to be honest. That game is sometimes real dumb, but sometimes kind of amusing at the same time. You know, it's a JRPG. Like, what you're not gonna get like a great story. You know, people always say, like, when you see those reviews, oh, great story. I'm like, what do you know of what is a great story to you, sir? What is a great story? Because this story is pure just whimsical bullshit. But
sometimes you need a bit of whimsical bullshit. Though.
Yes.
Man, I need so much whimsical
I feel like
bullshit.
If you're going to play a JRPG, a classic one, you definitely should pick Dragon Quest XI over some other ones for sure. Sure. That is it's pure in its form. That I mean, because it's not much to really say. Like, the combat is the combat. Exploration is fun because you find little things everywhere. There's lots of like ways to like they have these mounts. You kill monsters and you can mount them and do different stuff with them and get like more little bits and pieces. There's not much to do with it. You can, but you do get like extra loot. You can like, get on a bumblebee and fly across the pond and get yourself an ore that
how sweet.
You need for crafting, or it is.
That's so cute.
It is little, like, it needs little stuff like that for it to make it a more enjoyable experience than just like a straight line. Like, oh, go here, fight this. There's a lot of good moments. There's definitely a lot of good moments, and I definitely like it when the CG comes in into play. The shit looks good. Shit looks so good because basically you're playing a side story of Dragon Ball Z. Okay, like you got niggas turning Super Saiyan and all type of stuff. Like it's fucking. It's like a wet dream, man. You collect the Dragon Balls, man. Like, come on, man. You'll never. Let me say, if you have a problem with a silent character, you'll never get over it. It's fucking annoying. It's so annoying.
It is a bit weird that. Yeah, it is a bit weird that in the menu it asks you if you want to have the guy's voice on, and you're like,
when he moans,
he doesn't even talk anyway.
It's like. I want him to say something. Okay, I needed to make sure he's not a robot. You know?
No shit.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Can you imagine if the default was like off and then you turned it on after like 20 hours and he's just like, oh shit.
Damn, I needed this like from the beginning. Oh shit, you killed my dad.
Getting on my damn fucking nerves.
I would love to rewrite Barrett from Final Fantasy VII like that.
He's already like that. He's already racist. George, you want him more racist?
But I mean,
that's
just
what
going.
You like? Yeah, Liam. Yeah, Liam.
No, not profanity.
It came out his mouth,
profanity.
Liam. It fucking came out his mouth.
It would be hilarious to hear Barrett drop F-bombs, okay?
Oh my god! Sometimes white people don't know what they're saying, you know? Sometimes it just comes out wrong.
At this point, I'm unsure as to whether it's a running joke or a genuine threat.
Oh my god!
You know what Telltale Games The Walking Dead taught me? Silence is a valid answer.
No comment.
What, The Walking Dead, you said?
Yeah, Telltale's The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, a lot of black people die on The Walking Dead.
I just saw Matt's screen. There was a little bit in the corner that says Matt will remember that.
Yes. You know, I should definitely
Matt will remember that.
Just program that into my webcam and just like fucking have that pop up on Discord. I remember that. It's okay, George. It's in there. It's in there. I'll be looking for it.
Okay, real quick. Speaking of The Walking Dead, I played The Walking Dead.
Well done.
Well, yeah, but it kind of, I had to derail the train back again. Yeah, I played 2 zombie games this weekend. I played The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on VR and Back 4 Blood and Pancake Vision. They're both good, but I absolutely positively want to recommend The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners to both of you guys. That is a good, super good VR game. You know, I don't want to say like Half-Life Alyx style campaign. It's definitely not got that level of polish. It does not look as good nor feel as good as Half-Life Alyx. But what it is a Deus Ex style immersive sim with some really, really interesting systems going on where you have to do a lot of good time management and inventory management stuff. You explore some wreckage of post-zombie apocalypse New Orleans. It's real spooky, it's gothic, it's the Dark Souls of American city architecture. There's giant cemeteries and huge pieces of stonework blending in with the big glass skyscraper towers, and everything's all flooded. There's Spanish moss covering everything. It looks like a cartoony hunt showdown, like The Walking Dead should. The inventory system, you know what a menu boy I am, right? The inventory system is an actual backpack you sling off your back and then start picking items out of with your hands. The journal, sure enough, is an actual journal you pull out of your breast pocket and start flipping through with page motions. It's got some of the most elegant and satisfying VR interfacing I think I've played with. And the exploration is intense Deus Ex style first-person immersive stealth, but with like a soft time limit going on, where the longer time you spend in an area shuffling through everyone's cabinets, like you do in a good Deus Ex game, eventually some chimes will ring out in the city and bring a horde of zombies in. And they represent a real threat because every time you kill them, you can't swing a quick melee weapon at them. You actually have to make sure you hit their head and then waggle your hands around a bit to dig the weapon through their brains a bit before it actually kills the zombie. So getting close enough to these zombies to where melee combat happens is a dangerous thrill. Making sure that you are managing your inventory and ammo is a fun and dangerous thrill because everything has intense durability and breaks in a few hits, and the combat and the pacing is slow enough to the point where it ends up making it feel like every single move you make matters. Every step you take through these environments is chipping away at that soft time limit. Every hit you make with the melee weapon has to count, or else you'll be chipping away at some durability meters that you don't want to be fiddling around with too much. There's the hunger system that requires you to eat your character every few hours, and that chips down at like your permanent health and your permanent stamina, which have to slowly be managed over longer periods of time. There's some really interesting gameplay going on, and some
looks pretty cool.
Fun writing and characters going on. And the other game I played was Turtle Rock Studios' Left 4 Dead follow-up called Back 4 Blood, which pretty much exactly is Left 4 Dead 3 in a rougher, earlier alpha state. They put out a closed alpha that some reason was invite only. Somehow I had a friend who was able to get me a code for that. And yeah, it's fine. I don't know if I want to call it at this point because it does feel rougher than Left 4 Dead did, which is to be expected because it's alpha. But I also have to wonder if it feels ancient. It feels
I mean, Left 4 Dead itself has aged well because it's very just by the numbers.
It's still unique, but the staticness of these environments, like how many moments you're just holding the shoot button down while waving your cursor across a crowd. At this point in my life, that stuff feels so much less interesting than like thinking about what's happening across the whole entire environment at a time, like you do in a game like Siege or Hunt Showdown, where the environment you're in is not a static hallway full of zombies, versus a fully destructible house with 3 different floors, or a giant swamp with a really complicated AI ecosystem that you're manipulating as you go through. It's basic. It is back to basics. It plays like something from, let's say, 2012. There's a little bit of modern amenities in there that weren't in the original Left 4 Dead games. There's some better pinging systems. The levels are more open-ended, alternate pathways going through, Titanfall-style burner cards that you play before a match that add mutator effects like changing the time of day, the weather, or the enemy types. You know what? I want to say weather. Don't want to say time of day. I don't have vivid memories of them changing that, but there's definitely a card that like turns fog on. And occasionally you'll get like a scripted segment with a friendly character or like some soldiers who want you to go on a mission and blow up a boat, and there's a dramatic escape sequence. It feels a little teensy weensy bit more scripted than Left 4 Dead. But other than that, yeah, it is Left 4 Dead 3. If you liked Left 4 Dead, you're probably going to appreciate it, but I do wonder if it just feels a little too rough. And when I say that, I mean that the movement itself actually feels a little slower and stickier. It doesn't have that Source Engine smoothness, you know? Like when you're playing Half-Life 2 locked at 60 FPS and every single character on the screen just glides across the ground and your mouse cursor is beautifully smooth and sensitive. This feels more like BioShock 1 in terms of game feel. But there's still some cool ideas going on, some fun character designs, some fun monster designs, which was good stuff from Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, Left 4 Dead characters were meme-worthy for a while back in the mid-aughties. Like, they were iconic representatives of the Valve brand. And you got like a fun Harley Quinn style baseball bat punk girl, a fun who's the sidekick in Big Lebowski, who's the Vietnam veteran with the tinted glasses.
Guy from the Flintstones.
John Goodman, maybe?
Yeah, it's John Goodman.
Yeah, you got a John Goodman type who definitely looks like that character from The Big Lebowski, who is like a fat white guy covered in military surplus gear, making quips about survivalism and stuff. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fine though, and I think
the trailer did nothing for me. I don't think Left 4 Dead has done anything for me for a long time. I kind of just wish zombies in general would just like fuck off forever, but
I think I kind of outgrew this sort of deal, is what it feels like. Like the latest games I've been playing definitely have felt like they were from a more modern era than this one. Which is the point. I can't fault them for that, and I can't say it's bad either, so much as I just don't know if I'm gonna be real interested in this as it goes on further. I was intrigued. I was a big fan of Left 4 Dead 2. Not so much the first game, which is not usually how that process goes, but I also wasn't a big enough fan for Left 4 Dead 2 to be one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm sure if I loaded it up now, I'd not think that much about it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play it, but
yeah,
I am interested to see what the response is like, considering, people have hounded Valve for a Left 4 Dead 3 for a long time. I mean, of course, outside of Half-Life 3, but
Walking Dead Saints and Sinners ironically does make zombies a little more interesting than usual because of the level of interactivity you get with them. You're not holding down the fire button and waving through the crowd in that one. You're stacking up objects to block their path. You're thinking of alternate routes as you go through to not run into them.
Yeah, I think making them scary again is a good idea. I think that would be a good way forward,
Yeah. Of the two zombie games I played this weekend, Walking Dead was a pretty darn great time. Back 4 Blood was something I think I played for the podcast. Woo!
You played something for the podcast, George, and that is a thumbs up in my book.
Wait, did I say Left 4 Dead just now instead of Back 4 Blood?
You did.
I might have. Yeah, I think I did.
I don't think anybody will castrate you for making such an error.
Oh, they know what they're doing. It's super duper clear. They even call the randomizer system the director. There's a tutorial video you watch before you begin where the narrator lady says, "We're proud to provide the cooperative FPS experience that people have waited years for." They can't say it. They can't say it by name, but they pretty much are very blatantly saying, yes, we are making Left 4 Dead 3 here, guys. However, I will say one thing. Good on them for having a pretty darn good looking product that they're calling an alpha that they're releasing a good 6-7 months before their release date, which they have announced a good 6-7 months ahead of time. It seems like Turtle Rock Studios, published by WB Games here, they seem to have their shit together though. I will give them that. It's a polished, competent, professional product. It's not super well optimized, not totally glitch free, but it definitely seems to be at a higher level than the big news topic we're talking about this week.
Yeah.
Anything is at a higher level than fucking Cyberpunk.
It got so much worse. It got so much worse since last week. Holy shit.
Oh boy.
Couple days after we put that show out, Sony took Cyberpunk off the PlayStation Store. And that really started toppling a whole tower of dominoes over for them. Holy shit. Oh, this is nuts. All right. So on December 17th, Sony Interactive Entertainment started offering full refunds for people who bought the PlayStation 4 version of Cyberpunk 2077. They delisted it from their store. The day after, Microsoft does a similar thing, not quite the same. What they're doing is expanding their refund policy to include refunds for the Xbox One version, right? The Xbox Series X version, like the actual official next-gen version of this game isn't out yet, right?
No, it's not. The versions you're playing on Series X and PS5 are still the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game, but they obviously run better because of the console's power.
So they are refunding those. Best Buy is the big American retailer, is also expanding their refund policy beyond their norms to refund Cyberpunk 2077 through December 21st, which, hey, look at that, is today. Yeah, stores are changing their refund policy for this stuff. The console manufacturer, what you wouldn't call them a publisher, but still like a huge overseer in this process who's supposed to certify things, and they've said that this does not meet their level of quality. Sony Interactive Entertainment strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store.
I wouldn't. Sony ain't no good guy here either.
And companies are so full of shit. You know,
so full of shit.
If the anticipation of this game is the special qualifier here, and the sheer volume of pre-orders.
This is what people have been asking questions about. Like, well, how did this game get passed through certification? How did this game get through Sony and Xbox's internal quality? Blah, blah, blah. It's called money, and games like GTA and Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk can get away with anything on based promises of, we will fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony and Microsoft ain't going to delay Cyberpunk because they know it's going to make a massive amount of money for them.
Mm-hmm.
But considering Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red came out and were like, well, you can contact Sony and Microsoft for refunds. And those companies were like, whoa. Don't throw us under the bus. You guys fucked up the hard. Okay, well, Sony were just like, all right, well, fuck you then. We'll just delist your entire game. I mean, this is a massive, massive thing, and I think the partnership between Sony and CD Projekt Red will be irreversibly ruined. Because this is
unprecedented.
This
Has this
is
happened
bad.
Before? I remember No Man's Sky was a huge deal, but they didn't offer refunds over that.
See, there's a big difference here, and a lot of people pointing out, obviously, Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was just not the game that was promised. It wasn't a fundamentally broken game, though. It wasn't a game that didn't run. Fallout 76, you could argue, was so full of bugs that it made it unplayable. But Cyberpunk, doesn't run, doesn't work.
I didn't want to shit too much, but there was this part where, it run well on my system. And there were bugs, right? The really stupid bugs that just really got you out of being immersive. But there was this one bug where literally every time I would go down the elevator during this part, you had to do it. It was a story mission. I would get knocked off by a parade balloon outside of the elevator and onto the street and die every single time. There was no way to go around it.
I'm doing that mission right now.
Every time, Liam. So I had to, years and years of playing games, I went into a corner of the elevator, kept jumping. So every time, as soon as I hit the balloon, I would jump midway, jump over the balloon, slide across, and still come outside. But there was a ledge before you fall off the building. I land on the ledge and then double jump onto the surface that I needed to get to. Good.
Getting around the bugs. It's funny actually because I've carried on playing it. I haven't finished it, but I've actually been kind of enjoying it more because I've just kind of got used to it. But then they released a new patch the other day, 1.05. And I'm noticing way more graphical issues now. It's like they've tried to fix the performance, but what they've done is what's quite kind of typical is, you fix one thing, but you break everything else. And the general graphical performance is a lot lower. Like the pop-ins of textures is so much more noticeable. Water just looks terrible. And on the ground, you'll notice there is ambient occlusion around the player, and the LOD occlusion that generally is into the distance to a point where the player can't see is very clearly maybe only 10 or 20 feet in front of the player now. So textures of decals on the road or the buildings pop in and out depending on how you move, and it's so noticeable. I've recorded about 4 different clips on my Xbox of it happening.
Xbox record that.
It doesn't seem to be getting fixed very well, but these things are tough.
No, that I could get this shit. This game is done. It's pack up the bags. Come back to it next year after a few months, after some I don't even know how.
Did you guys listen to the shareholder call audio that got released?
Oh shit!
No.
Audio got released.
Well, it was on their official like website on CD Projekt where they must legally have to do it. But it was.
Oh, I was thinking of the Jason Schreier thing.
No, I don't think Jason probably will have heard anything other than anonymous stuff so far, right? But
he did a thing. He did he jumped on this
of course he did.
beat and talked about an internal phone call. But anyway, that's not an investor meeting. I was thinking of a different thing.
No,
Anyways.
this was audio, but I listened to it. It's about 47 minutes long. And the one thing that struck me the most, and I think this is part of the problem, is the shareholders were JP Morgan, Barclays Bank, and it was all of these monopoly banks. And you're like, of course. This is just of course. The problem stemmed from pleasing shareholders, releasing a game too early because you need to make money because your development is like 500 people that has gone on for 8 years. And the people who are asking questions don't know a jack shit about video games, who then are big, massive banks that are the shareholders in CD Projekt Red who have now lost $1 billion in like their share value. It's like, of course, it all like it's just a recipe for disaster, these things.
But Liam,
and it was quite eye-opening.
I don't know, like, what did they do for 8 years? Sorry, I'm just gonna have to go down this hole real quick. Like, what the fuck did they do for 8 years, Liam?
Well, I mean,
this can't be the same team that made The Witcher 3, right? Did people leave?
Well, supposedly there was a Reddit thread that went up about the timeline of how the game was made. And honestly, it's not really any different from most games. The fact is, if games take a long time, people leave, new people come in, you have to onboard those people, then those people don't like the current game state and ideas, so they bring in new ideas, and then you just get stuck in development hell because you don't have any continual focus.
I do want to point out that Reddit thread in particular, I don't necessarily want to leak to it. You know, it's a guy who just says, dude, trust me, I'm friends with one of the developers, and then they make some suspicious claims.
Yeah. But I mean, reading it, it's not unfeasible. Like, looking at it, I'm like, this totally could have happened.
It's plausible, but it's no Jason Schreier piece.
No.
And I get it. Coming into a project midway, especially in what I do, sucks. You don't know what the other person did. Their fucking way of doing work could be chaotic as a motherfucker, and you're just like, why are you doing it this way? You know, like, they're not doing it simple. I get it.
So I would say that it's like, imagine doing that a couple of times over, right? But imagine also being somebody who's consistently on that project from start to beginning. By the end, you just hate it. You just hate the project, right? So you can't see, you just want it finished. I'm not going to use the word passion because that's the wrong thing. There's just nothing left in the tank. And you have that for hundreds of people who are trying to together work through arduous conditions to get something finished, and you have turnover and you have new people come in, and it's just a bit of a mess. It's like holding up a broken house. And you add on top of that money and deadlines. And when you have no focus because people are not consistently through there leading the project, you have things where you have, I think Cyberpunk's RPG side is not very strong, but I think its actual like dialogue and stuff is actually pretty good. The more I go through it, the more I'm like a little bit impressed by at least the different options you can have.
No.
But everything else, like the traffic has been pointed out that it just doesn't work. You know, the NPCs, there's no reason for them to exist. So that's another thing. So there's like these little bits that get focused on really heavily, and throughout development, obviously they must have been the main focus. But then these other aspects, just that they're like, oh, we'll get to that eventually. And then within the last year, they're like, oh, fuck, like, what do we do about the traffic in this giant city? And then you're like, oh, well, we'll just make the cars follow one line. And then it'll, you know, if things get in the way, it doesn't matter. Who knows, man?
Yeah, a lot of it is like that, like the most basic ass AI for everything.
Because they probably just they ran out of time. The fact is, it's down to bad management.
Liam, I'm gonna try not to be like the guy who's looking in talking shit. I'm gonna try not, because I tried to keep it like to very simple shit last time, but like all you have to do is go 7 years back, watch that trailer. They have flying cars. They had all sorts
But
of
that's all
shit.
conceptual.
Very cyberpunk shit, right? Like, I understand. That's the concept, right? I get it.
Yeah.
What came out was not cyberpunk.
Is this the underwear girl trailer?
Yes.
Oh, that was just a tats of nothing trailer.
That shit. You
can never believe that stuff.
It was obvious. Like, that was exactly what got people hyped up.
But you can see that, like, but that's just development, isn't it? Like, you go down these focus paths where, to them, the
you play old ass cars, old ass fucking cars.
No, you just add 2 extra wheels, man. It becomes cyberpunk. You know that. There are no flying cars. That's right. The city is multi-leveled to try and be like that.
I am gonna say in 2077, the world is gonna look way better than it did in Cyberpunk 2077. I'm just gonna go ahead and go. So holla at me in a few years, in 57 years. Holla at me in 57 years. All right, when we're old, and tell me the world don't look fucking better than that bullshit.
For the live stream episode 1000 of the Dad and Sons podcast, you can point to Matt and say, "Look, Matt, no flying cars, mate."
You're such an optimist.
Shit, there's already hovering, man. You got people already. You got the white people already hovering over water. Let me tell you,
the white people hovering over water.
That's what they do. They buy these things and they can hover
can
fucking
black
over
people
water.
Fly?
You don't see black people on them things. Come on now.
When can the black people fly?
When do you see those videos, those travel videos with nah, you don't see them doing that. Come on.
Who will be the first black person to hover above water?
It's going to be me.
They're going to make a statue right next to Martin.
My cousin already got a boat, man. We're gonna travel the fucking world, man. Travel the fucking world. I'm gonna be the first black travel YouTuber.
You sound like an NPC character already. My cousin's got a boat, and we're gonna travel the world.
We're gonna travel the world.
We just need an engine.
So one thing that I think is especially tragic is the name of the game, and the situation the world's in, and the situation the game's in. So Jason Schreier had a couple sources talk to him about an internal phone call where the developers were apparently really, really mean at their bosses in this phone. Good. He says that one developer asked whether CD Projekt's directors felt it was hypocritical to make a game about corporate exploitation while expecting that their employees work overtime. The response was vague and non-committal.
Oh
Damn.
My god. Beautiful. God damn.
Damn. Oh man. Yeah, that's one thing I think we were all thinking of when we were playing that game. And we just never it's just like, wait. Is CD Projekt doing all this crunch shit and all this type of stuff? Why are they going this route? It just seems like such a shitty story for them to do.
When it comes to living in a shitty science fiction dystopia where corporations are more powerful than governments in terms of how much say they have in everyone's life, where the wonderful space programs that were going on when the boomers were growing up have devolved into defunded, politicized nothingness, I find it incredibly depressing that the situation around Cyberpunk is a lot more cyberpunk than the game Cyberpunk itself seems to be. This shit is titanic. Like it's a monument to the human hubris. They're making the biggest, most impressive ocean liner of them all, only to have it get hoisted by their own petard. It's the irony. It kills me. I don't know if I want to laugh at it or like laugh nervously in self-defense because I'm genuinely scared, guys.
I feel so bad for those devs. So bad.
Okay, wait. All right. I want you to tell me about... I'm all for the separation between devs and corporate shitheads. All for it. But, I mean, these boys work for CD Projekt Red. Right? They're going to be able to get another job if they wanted to.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking worked on The Witcher 3. Boom. Job. I worked on fucking Cyberpunk. Boom. Like...
I would say in that, you got to remember, right, most of them are Polish, so they're probably not going to leave Poland, right? But in Poland, outside of maybe the super hot devs and a couple of others, CD Projekt has a complete monopoly on the whole games industry in that country. It's literally the 8th biggest company in Poland by money. So for them, I'm it's either stay at CD Projekt Red and see wait it out and see if this gets better over time. Can CD Projekt Red repair its reputation? Is it even going to make enough money to keep that studio running? There's a couple of other really tragic factors around this, but you are right. Like, those guys could go anywhere. They, even if you said you worked on CD Projekt Red, you go to another company, they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, we need you. Like, come aboard." It's never how the game gets received, but it's your individual. If you're an artist on the game, you can be like, "Look how great the game looks." They'll be like, "Hell yeah, let's have you." But the reality is, it's like, if my job got taken away and I want to live in Kyoto, my options are so limited. For those, if they're Polish and they live in Poland and maybe they only speak Polish, that's it. Like, maybe their game career is over. Like, if they don't want to stay at CD Projekt Red or leave Poland. So
CD Projekt Red's good days definitely might be over at this point.
Even if they come out with a Witcher 4, right? Maybe the Witcher TV show can save them. Maybe season 2 of The Witcher.
Witcher, the TV show? Did it get a cut, or is that an only book thing?
It's already in production, isn't it?
Yeah, that's still going.
And that's in Netflix's hands, not CD Projekt.
The first season was pretty decent. It ain't no
Mandalorian. It's the same thing. It's just like good ass TV. You sit down,
elevated by the
edible
IP.
And just, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like on the one level, the tragic thing is that they still made a gajillion bucks anyway, but they might not.
I don't think that's the thing. I think they forecasted 20 million lifetime.
Didn't they break some sales records on this stuff though?
I sold 8 million pre-orders.
That's a lot. That is a shit ton.
I don't know, unless this game gets massively fixed and then becomes a next gen rebirth. It can happen. We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even at this point. It's not even the game. It's about CD Projekt Red, right? It's about like the fact that they lied about how the state of the current gen consoles were in. They actively have done a bit of edgelord marketing that's kind of come to bite them in the ass again. You can't be punk.
Fuck off. Yeah, Jesus Christ. There's one of those coming up in a minute.
If you're gonna be a corporate loser, and if you've lost $1 billion in share value,
So yeah, oof. I mean, point is, pre-orders were like really good, but they might not be good forever ever again. They might be getting sued for misleading investors. You were speaking of showing a state of the game that does not represent the last gen versions at all. And there's been a couple stories coming out over the past couple days about more and more law firms saying that they are investigating whether or not they were actually misleading investors purposefully. Yeah, there's one story that was coming out on December 18th of a law firm by Wolf Haldenstein and Adler Freeman, announcing that they are investigating a suit against CD Projekt for issuing materially misleading information to their shareholders and investing public. If any of our Dad and Sons listeners are a rich enough asshole to invest in stocks, and if you happen to have invested in CD Projekt Red, you can contact the good men at Wolf Haldenstein, Adler Freeman, and Hers LLP to become a part of this class action suit. Today, when we were talking about it a few minutes ago, there were more stories coming out from some more Polish law firms who are also doing the same thing. CDPR, according to them, could be found guilty of manipulative and deceptive practices designed to deliberately mislead shareholders. This lawyer is Mikołaja Orzechowski. You know what? Polish last names are always fine for me to pronounce. It's the Polish first names that get me.
Good thing you don't run CD Projekt Red.
Orzechowski sounds like a character from a Coen Brothers movie. On the other hand, what's this guy's first name supposed to be? Mikola. I don't know what that symbol is. That's a symbol we don't use that much. What does it mean when there's an L with a little notch stripe through it? Anyways, point is, people on both sides of the pond are making legal threats against them. They're in a lot of legal trouble. They're gonna be in a lot of financial trouble. I wonder though if the bosses are still gonna be, because 8 million pre-orders. 8 million pre-orders, that's still money they're making that they can spend on these lawsuits, right?
It's money they've made. It's money. I mean, you have to buy a game to pre-order it on.
Speaking of having to make money from people buying games you're selling, while this was going on, they canceled the GOG re-release of Devotion the same day the GOG re-release of Devotion was announced. Within hours of each other, Red Candle Games tweeted out saying that they're going to share news of them publishing Devotion on December 18th on GOG. Earlier today, it was announced that the game Devotion is coming to GOG. After receiving many messages from gamers, we've decided not to list the game in our store.
What I don't understand that I never understood when I saw people tripping about that. Like what do you mean? Like, so it got messages. Like, what was?
Angry Chinese gamers are very offended by Devotion because of the Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh joke thrown in, and then like you guys got in trouble for that. A year ago when it was happening. Yeah, no, this is shit. This is such shit. This is a detriment to the artistic merit of video games as an art form and a dangerously empowering move to trolls.
Well, that's if there really was angry messages from real life gamers, or it was potentially maybe something else, like an email to the company from maybe one of their partners in China that's like, hey, you do this, China market's gone.
And then you're done.
They cited the gamers in the tweet. They said many messages from gamers. That is the language they use.
You got to cover your ass, you know?
I know. But are you going to say gamers when really it's something else? I don't think it was. I think a lot of people don't think it was gamers either. I think it was potentially a little bit of a pushing from maybe a market partner, considering China is a massive market for CD Projekt Red.
China is a massive market. That doesn't mean this has to be a conspiracy theory, though. It could be an act of cowardice and incompetence. China is apparently, I don't know if I even want to believe this, but CD Projekt has said that China was the top pre-orders of Cyberpunk 2077. That's the context. I don't know if it's conspiracy theory. I am ready, having experienced harassment from angry gamers themselves.
Angry Chinese gamers?
I am totally ready to believe that they would have experienced enough harassment from angry Chinese gamers to feel the nudge to make the economically influenced decision of placating the Chinese gamer market. We have seen companies bend the knee to English-speaking angry gamers so many fucking times. Like, wasn't it, no, it wasn't CD Projekt. It was THQ Nordic that did that Q&A session on 8chan at one time.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, bending the knee to angry gamers is such a fucking nasty ass way.
I would think there is more to this. I don't think a company would pull a game based on just a specific market's game unless they were inundated.
Well, that's the story of Devotion itself. This thing got pulled off of Steam last year. They had their
in China.
Look it up. Type in Devotion Steam on Google and see what comes up.
Oh no, yeah, it got pulled. I couldn't get it.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah. I was thinking about
it's still not there.
Yeah.
They had their relationship with their publishers severed too. Like they have had a hard ass time just being able to sell this game anywhere in the world. And not even on GOG are they safe from this. And like, yeah, as someone who, got 80 death threats in a day back in 2014 when that was going on, like I'm totally ready to believe that it's a combination of people at CD Projekt. Yeah. No, I've talked about this before. I got 80 on I think it was October 14th, 2014.
For what?
For being a member of the Game Journo Pros message board.
Oh God.
And considering how much that weighs on you, how it does affect your productivity, how it does affect your mental health, how it does affect your feeling of safety and security when you're at home, I'm absolutely ready to believe that would have combined with the economic influence of the profitability of the Chinese market to get them to pull this. No, it's insane. When you get on the internet shit list, it's the sheer volume of bullshit you got to put up with is unfucking real.
There's no gray. It's just black and white, and it's so hard to read through text. There's no context to anything. And yeah, I mean, this is going off the path of devotion, which is, I mean, GOG, just cowardly. It's just cowardly.
Question.
Mhm.
Should I bother to play Cyberpunk in the cyber future if it gets all patched up and modded and
maybe in 2077?
Yeah, don't waste your time on that fucking game. Play Yakuza 7.
Let me ask you. Do you like Fallout 4?
I thought it was okay. Not a favorite game by far.
Do you like GTA 5?
Wait, don't put GTA 5 in that. GTA 5 is like there's some fun to be had in GTA 5.
Yeah, but I mean, do you like a poor man's version of GTA 5 crossed with Fallout 4?
There we go.
I would probably enjoy that.
All this game, all Cyberpunk reminds me of is Fallout 4. It's like future Fallout. That's all it reminds me of.
But the thing that I found the most fun about Fallout 4 was the settlement building minigame. Like I had more fun with that than I did the real quests. So that's already like points against Cyberpunk if it doesn't have that.
Definitely doesn't have anything remotely satisfying like that.
I did not play Fallout 4 like a Fallout game. I played it like a town builder game. I had more fun with that chunk than I did the actual RPG stuff.
If you haven't bought it yet, if you haven't bought it yet, especially if you're on the consoles, don't buy it. I'm just going to go ahead and say don't buy it. It's not worth the risk. If you have the disposable income and you don't care, you want to see what it's all about, sure, go ahead, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? But if you're on the fence, go back onto your side of the fence. Don't go across the fence. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. If you know what Mac games are, this could have been it, but it is not it. It is not it.
God, it does seem like such a Mac game.
It was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like a nice polished turd. Like I thought it was gonna be good. Like in the most like
polished turd is good.
Yeah, like I knew. Like you saw the trailers. Like it looked like shit, but like I was okay with like a little bit of a buggy mess with some like good characters and some weird gameplay. But you got none of that. You just got some bland game with bland shit.
You guys were like. You kept qualifying your criticisms with like, but it's still kind of fun, and I keep playing it last week.
That's Liam has fun with it. I said I like the fact that I played it. There's a difference. I think we can clarify at this point that Liam does have the most fun with games. Yes, he does. Yes. He does, and I wish I could be him.
I have the what?
Most fun.
Yeah, but I don't finish games, so I can't be having that much fun.
That's probably how it works. Actually, you haven't had your fill. Diminishing returns.
No, I think it's a case of, and this is not going back to it, but I do kind of it's so hard to switch off, right? So when I play a game, I'm amazed by the achievement in which people can get to. It is honestly a miracle games get made. But sometimes, like even playing Cyberpunk, like when I'm thinking in my head of how I would design it and how I'm going through all of the different pathways of how things work, and then that's why things stand out so badly to me sometimes, is I can probably give it more, maybe 20% more forgiveness for its jankiness. Cyberpunk, on the other hand, is a different thing. I can respect that they exist and what they do. Maybe not necessarily I'm having fun, but I can still be like, well, there's redeeming things here. I think with Cyberpunk, there is redeeming things. I think some of the things it tries to do, I do really like. I do really wish it lent more. I honestly wish it got rid of all of the shooting. I honestly do, because I rely so heavily on it because the game doesn't have any other solid cores, really. And I wish it was all about being a netrunner. And the idea that you have to hack people and you have to use your augmentations, basically more Deus Ex level than
Yeah.
before. I so wish they had gone in that direction and really tried to push the boundaries instead of being stuck in a stifled market where if you don't have guns in your game and you're not in first person, you are not going to sell 20 million copies.
I would love to play.
You know what's a good cyberpunk game, Surgers? You know what a good cyberpunk game is? You know where you are a netrunner? Fucking Shadowrun.
Super Nintendo's Shadowrun.
That's a cyberpunk game. That's a fucking cyberpunk game. That's what cyberpunk is. If you think this is cyberpunk, you don't know what cyberpunk is. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll give you a hug if I see you. But you do not know what cyberpunk is. You need to no. I don't care if it's from a book. God damn it. Or tabletop game. This shit. No. Flying cars in cyberpunk games, damn it. Cloudpunk came out, an indie game, and it had flying cars. Fucking I played Dex. That was more cyberpunk than this fucking game. Oh my god. Okay, I'm done.
So I would love to play that beautiful imaginary mashup of Deus Ex and GTA. And are we still at a point in history where the closest thing to that we've got at the moment is like Watch Dogs?
Yes. And Watch Dogs is not even close to that. Yeah.
I really did have a good time with Watch Dogs 2 once I decided not to use the guns. It's like the guns that so often bring this stuff down.
You might enjoy the new one, right? You might enjoy the new one.
I think I would I don't know if I'd finish it, but I think I would.
Yeah.
That does seem like a George game, right? I love my Ubisoft trash every now and then.
Yeah. The ass creeds. I think I'm ass creed out. I don't think I can play another one. I think I'm done.
I definitely got it.
I think I'm done.
I played Valhalla for like 2 hours and I'm like,
yeah.
Watch Dogs is different. Anyways.
No, yeah. Definitely. Not saying that. Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. Far Cry as well.
It's like the story is not there too. So it's just like
yeah, they've never. Yeah,
that's what I heard. It's more like
story.
gameplay based, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm totally into that. I do want some story, but yeah.
But making use of the hacking powers in Watch Dogs 2 was genuinely good fun. You could remote control cars, and the traffic system actually responded to the shenanigans you were getting up to, causing traffic jams and hacking cop cars was always while you're hiding behind cover, sneaking out, never being spotted was such a.
I think there really is something like I don't want to go on for both too long. I think we have reached a crossroads where games are so simulated in realism that if you can't do uncanny valley with graphics anymore because people expect levels of realism. That is the same when you try to repeat realistic game systems. So if you're not creating games that are like Breath of the Wild or something like that, or games that are kind of semi-realistic and have biological systems, if you try to make a game where you're giving the player tools to influence the world and then they come up against barriers such as, why the hell can I not hack this door so it opens when it's an electronic door just because the game is telling me I can't? You can't get away with that anymore. We've reached the point where limitations in games are not forgiven by the player. So if you're going to make simulated worlds where you should be able to hack everything, or you're able to influence things by setting things on fire, etc., if the game doesn't respond in that way anymore, people are going to be sick of that and your game's not going to be successful.
I think that's what got me about Back 4 Blood, is that you can't hide anymore that you're in a tunnel that might look like a town or a city, but there's so many other games where you like expect that level of interactivity and world building fleshed out in 3D in the actual map design, that when it's not there, it's painfully evident at this point in a way it wasn't before. Like all those locked doors in Half-Life and Silent Hill might be something game developers can't get away with anymore. In The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, one of the things I was suppressed by was how much room in the levels is not used by the story. It's just there for your own immersion or to get lost in if you want. Like every house, every room in a lot of those houses is explorable. Every one of the houses in the neighborhood has some kind of interior to it.
So it's honestly a double-edged sword. Like you can go for games like, Watchdog Legion with all the hacking and then playing every character. But, once every character is very similar and samey, which seems to be everyone's criticism about that game, it's like, well, you're not simulating a real world. You can't use the tagline play as anyone because you're not playing as anyone. You're playing as randomly generated versions that have specifically different but similar simulations. And then players, it's not It's very hard. The more we progress with technology, the less forgiving these things become. It's not as impressive, and it definitely becomes stagnated and becomes problematic. There's a great video by, obviously, Mark's, who does Game Maker's Toolkit, about Watch Dogs Legion and the hacking in that, and like what is amazing about it, but also what generally then gets pointed out as flaws of it because it's so limited towards the game design part. If these things don't change, like it's a big problem in Cyberpunk. Why can't I hack everything, or at least what seems to be the things I should be able to? Doors, cars. Like for some reason, sometimes you can't even get into cars. In GTA, I just smash the window and open the car. Like it's odd that you can't do those things. So if you're going to make a big AAA game where you should be able to do things like that, especially on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X going forward, you're going to have to provide that. And that is a huge task.
Sounds like you're just better off not making a big AAA game then.
I think that's the way forward.
I mean,
but oh no, you guys keep doing it though, please. While I'm making indie games, you guys keep spending millions of dollars somewhere else, because don't come over here.
You guys have seen that image of Sonic the Hedgehog saying, "We want shorter games with worse graphics made by developers who are paid more to work less."
Heck yeah, we do.
Unironically true.
Because the people who do that, who go through that pain, is like the people who actually have passion.
You find, and that's the thing, you find indie, like you can almost 50-50 split indie developers into two camps. One, young students who have been making indie games since they were 13, 14, and they went to college and made games, and they made one indie game and are super successful. The other half of indies are people like myself or other people who did AAA and then were like, fuck this, and then went and did something else. That is like the two camps of indie gamers. And then those guys or those people are, in their 30s or moving forward, who are like, man, that market is done for. I don't want to work in that kind of environment anymore either.
I really feel like this should be a harsh lesson for all the gamers out there. Lesson number 999,999, not to get hyped for this big AAA overproduced stuff.
If George ever was right about not pre-ordering, he was right about that one.
Never, ever pre-order a AAA game. Or just don't
play games.
Don't buy big AAA games early.
Just never play games again.
They're always going to be better 3 months down the road. They're always going to be cheaper 3 months down the road. Just wait a couple months. It's not that hard. You can play games from a couple months earlier in the meantime. Like Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners.
Man, with Game Pass now, you can just go back and play games you missed, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Game Pass.
Maybe Sea of Thieves is really good.
I know, right? When you're playing it for free.
Yeah, when you play it for free, everything's good.
Yeah, everything's free.
Cyberpunk's probably game of the year if I'd got it for free.
It's not free, God. You're paying $10 a month.
That's
you
what
can't
me and Liam
say
call
that.
it. Me and Liam call it free. It's free.
Call it free because it
$15
comes out automatically.
Okay,
and the games are there.
I'm gonna go eat a pizza, and it's a vegan dish. I'm gonna go eat my vegan sausage chicken salami pizza.
Are you getting healthy? Are you finally eating more salads, George? Have I finally knocked that shit into you?
I'm so healthy because I'm gaining weight and eating bad food. I'm eating salad, you know salad, right? It's when you stack a bunch of meat on top of each other, cover it in eggs, and fry it in the pan. That's salad, right? That's as salad as is Xbox Game Pass is free.
Oh my god. Never mind.
It comes out automatically. It's relatively inexpensive, and the games are just there on my Xbox for me to see. It's as free can be.
It's free as free can be.
How is that free as free can be?
Yeah, you don't have to spend from $30 to $60 on these games. It's basically free.
And this is basically a video podcast, yes. But it will be in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. You guys enjoy your Christmas. It's probably gonna. Are we gonna have this out before Christmas or on?
Yeah, this one will be out before Christmas.
Well, it'll be on Christmas.
It'll be around Christmas.
So,
oh my god!
Happy Christmas, guys.
Miracle! Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Is that Merry Christmas is accurate.
Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Oh my god. That's what a weird year it's been. I can't believe that we're like seriously questioning the phrasing of Merry Christmas. That's how like shitty our brains have become.
In the UK, to be fair, that's been a conversation for a long time actually.
Wait, really? They don't say Merry Christmas in the UK?
Yeah, we do, but we tend to also say happy holidays because in case you do not practice Christian faith or you don't celebrate Christmas.
Like I've completely separated the two. I know people don't like to hear that, but I've completely separated the two.
I am exactly with you, Matt. Merry Christmas is nothing Christian. For me, it is Santa, family, friends, just gift giving in terms of the people you love. The spirit.
It's not the same as saying Happy Hanukkah. Like, it's not the same. Christmas is like such a wide term, you know?
Yeah. If I want it, like Merry Christ Mass. No thanks.
Yeah.
You don't
Xmas.
say Christmas, you say Christmas.
Yeah.
Not Christ Mass.
I'm putting God back into Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
Yeah. Christmas is just as there for the corporations as it is for Jesus. It was always, you remember what an eye-opening experience it is working your first retail job as a teenager and you notice like just how much the economy depends on Christmas? Like how much more money
Black
they
Friday.
make then? Yeah, like the yearly revenue.
Your extra 10 hours at GameStop when you dance on Christmas Day.
It was a very overwhelming, sobering, growing experience realizing that Christmas is kind of sort of what holds the American or the world, the Western world economy together.
I love it. I will admit I'm a sucker for Christmas. And I think it's just because from in the UK, Christmas is the biggest time of the year. And like, it's all about being with family. And that's mostly it. I mean, getting presents fucking rules, right? Opening a Wii.
Until you start having to buy them.
No, even buying them. I like giving
I hate
gifts.
buying presents. I can't stand it.
I hate trying to guess what people want. I hate that part. But if you get it right and they're very grateful, then it's you know.
I hate spending money.
Oh well, that's different. I don't mind that part.
We know.
Christmas was fun for me up until I started realizing how much more money I'm gonna have to spend every year to keep the American economy together.
Well, you did spend money on a Dad and Sons hoodie, and I will admit you look quite adorable in it.
Oh, thanks, Dad. If you would like to send in pictures of you wearing Dad and Sons merch, oh God, what sort of can of worms did I just open up? Send them in to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. Well, once again, that email is dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. It is in the description.
Please.
Or tweet them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got a fun one. First one this week comes from a guy who is simply going to be known as Pro. Pro asks, what is your favorite / most memorable video game themed promotion done by a non-video game brand?
What constitutes a memorable video game? Are we talking about Doritos, Pope, Jeff Keighley?
Yeah, I do want to say that we should be pretty open-ended with our interpretation here to make sure we hit the big ones. I think Doritos promoting Halo and the Game Awards would count. Arby's promoting Soul Calibur with its nightmare statue of hamburger boxes. That was pretty good. That was strong.
Yeah, it was Kyle, our old friend, Cute Monster Props.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was Kyle.
It was a friend of Kyle's.
Holy shit.
Kyle told me about the guy who did it.
No, Kyle worked. Kyle, I don't think Kyle did it specifically, but I think Kyle helped do it. I mean, he's in Vulpin Props, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the semantics of that is irrespective of the question.
Shit, mad props to Kyle, man.
It is tough because it is such a specific category, but there are some good examples that do come right to you like that. Like the Doritos Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel is a fun meme. I don't know if I'm going to say that's my favorite.
The whole Xbox 360 generation was like when it existed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's died since then.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys ever see The Wizard?
No.
Oh, right. Yeah. The Nintendo movie that had Super Mario Bros. 2 in it and the Power Glove.
I think that would count.
Does Detective Pikachu the movie count?
Well, that's
I
still
enjoyed that.
By Nintendo. Yeah, no, the focus there is more on Pokemon than it is any other brand. Like, if you see a statue of Nightmare made out of Arby's boxes, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to start craving some delicious market fresh sandwiches. But if I go to the movies and see Pokemon, I'm going to start craving some fun, cute Nintendo products. Whether or not they're video games. Fine, okay, that counts, because Pokemon's a pretty big market in just like dolls and toys and anime as it is video games.
Oh, it definitely is.
Nothing can surpass Doritos Pope, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially because that was a moment that kind of made game journalism a little wee bit better. Like, everyone learned from it.
It also it is synonymous with a time and place in video game history, which was the Xbox Live generation.
Oh, the best generation of all time.
The best and worst generation of all time.
Best and worst, yeah, I agree.
And I think I got shat on a little bit for it last week, but I feel like that Dorito Pope episode is one of the reasons why the Game Awards nowadays are less cringy than they used to be.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
So yeah, I think we got to give it to Dorito Pope. Like, Dorito Pope actually changed the world. It wasn't just a funny meme.
Yeah, good old Jeff changing the world.
I
One
would
live
love
stream at a
to
time.
have a conversation with the guy. I would love to have a conversation with the guy to see how he really is.
Is this our New Year's resolution? Get Jeff Keighley on the podcast?
Do you really think he'd be that?
I want him with some drinks first. No, he wouldn't come on here. I would want to have some drinks.
Do you reckon Jeff drinks? I imagine he's straight edge.
Yeah?
You can tell by his haircut.
You don't think he wants an old fashioned or nothing like that? Something strong?
No, he probably wants a Mountain Dew.
A Dorito from Taco Bell? Dewgarita? What is it? The Red Lobster Dewgarita?
A Jack and Coke, but just like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Jack and Coke, but he replaces the...
Okay, so wait, you guys haven't heard about this? The Red Lobster Dewgarita?
No.
Can I have a vodka and Mountain Dew with a side of Doritos?
There's never a bad time for a margarita. The only challenge is deciding what kind of margarita to go for. You can opt for a classic fruity, but sometimes chain restaurants come out with unexpected cocktail combinations that will rock your entire world. Like Red Lobster, who is soon to have a secret recipe margarita made with Mountain Dew. Yeah, Jeff would definitely want to do Dewgarita. He'd want to take us out to Red Lobster and get us some Dewgaritas. I'm dying, guys. I'm dying. Alec G has questions for all of us. I'll save me for last. Liam, how do you go about starting your design? With pencil and paper, making sketches of your idea? Or do you design a mechanic and play around with that? Or is it all unique for each game?
It can be unique, but it tends to be exactly what you just said. I'm going to show the guys right now. But
I saw that hung on the wall.
The
when
Bible.
I visited.
He's showing us the Bible right now.
Yeah,
lore.
I do everything in pencil mostly for myself because I'm quick and noodle. And then if I'm working with a team, I will take a photo of it and I will post it in a task manager or something for people to see. If it's something that needs concepts, I'll flesh it out and do digital stuff. But yeah, I tend to use entirely just pencil and paper for designing almost everything. But if I have an idea for a game that not necessarily has individual mechanics yet, but has just a general idea, I will jump in. If I think I can make it, I will jump straight into Game Maker and then just start making the prototype because it's all in my head already. I don't need to note anything down. But then when I have to flesh upon that prototype or make that game like I did with golf, that is when I will be jumping in to just writing everything down. I don't tend to agree necessarily that you don't stick with your first idea. I'm somebody who I have to really, really think about an idea for a very long time before I will write it down because that tends to be the strongest idea and then I just go with it. But if you have ideas, there's no such thing as a bad idea. And there's a writing technique where you write 5 things down or you design 5 things. And that means you get all the bad ideas out immediately and then only your good ideas are left. So you should write everything down, draw every concept, even if you're bad at drawing, just write every idea down. I tend to do that. I always use pencil and paper. That's great. I have a lovely little journal.
I remember seeing a big ass wall scroll poster of
yes, yeah,
Flitspire.
When I was designing Flitspire, because it was like flying up a tower, I bought literal massive A2 size paper or whatever it was, and I would just draw the tower, and then I would place post-it notes of platforms, and then I would just move those post-it notes around to see which would be better before I did it. Yeah, that's good fun. Designing is awesome.
Matt, where do you look for information on new components to track prices and where to buy?
I'm assuming a PC. I'm a Micro Center shopper because the way they do things is that they sell processors at cost and they try to tack on a bunch of other stuff that costs a bit more. Like the motherboard might be like $10 more or whatever, and that's how they make money at Micro Center. And that's how they get you in, and $50 off this or $10 off this when you get a motherboard and stuff like that. There are a couple of like Honey and stuff like that you can kind of track prices, but I don't penny pinch when it comes down to components. So I wouldn't be able to be like, oh yeah, I go on Craigslist and get the cheapest thing possible. No, I feel like I rather, if I'm getting PC parts, I kind of go straight to like a place like Micro Center or a hole in the wall PC place. I don't know where you live, and see the products myself. Look at the motherboard to make sure someone hasn't roughed it up, and get my parts straight there. And if something goes wrong when I go back, if it doesn't post, I come back and say, yo, fucking switch this shit out. And I'd rather have a place like that. I don't like shipping components back and forth. If you don't have the luxury for that, then, you're going to have to go the Newegg. You have to go the Newegg route. They always have some deals on that. But yeah, I'd rather go to a store that you trust. Micro Center is a decent store. But yeah, that's how I do things. And every these guys are like, huh? What? PC?
I kind of like just when I was in the UK, I was on top of all this shit, and I actually looked into upgrading this PC recently, and then I opened it up and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I forgot everything. I don't even know what this is.
So I tend to forget stuff pretty quickly too, but like this is it's stained in my brain. It's stained in my brain. I don't like, I'm not constant with the news, then I'll lose track of the news, and then I would have to reacquaint myself with it when
it doesn't help that the numbering of video cards and stuff is just fucking garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. It's pretty nuts. AMD does a really bad job with it too.
RTX cards instead of GTX cards.
I mean, at least like RTX, you're getting like ray tracing and all that type of stuff. And like,
what does GTX stand for then?
I never had to think about that until they switched to RTX.
Is it Game Turbo Extreme?
That makes me so much more embarrassed for every GTX card I've ever bought in the past 10 years.
I have a GTX now. I have the 970 GTX.
You mean you have a Gamer Turbo Extreme 970?
I have the 970 Gamer Turbo Extreme.
That's what I have installed on my toilet.
The Ass Blaster Gamer Turbo Extreme. Wash away the gamer.
That's what the NVIDIA ATX line is going to be. The Ass Blaster Turbo Extreme. Okay, so the most useful, tasteful, helpful, mature question of them all, the one that definitely shows what a contribution I'm making to society here, how great of a human being I am in the universe. This is what I got put on the world to do, guys. My mom made me so that I can answer the following question on this podcast. George, do you prefer paper towels for drying or air dryers?
Wait, you're talking about when you're in a public restroom?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
It's definitely paper towels. There ain't no way you're touching that dryer.
It's ass air that you're getting on your hands.
Yeah.
Well, where is it connected to? It's blowing the same ass air onto your hand after you've cleaned it.
I love a bit of ass air.
I do have my poo particle paranoia, but I do also hope that I am healthy enough, God forbid, it's the one thing I might have myself together right now. I do hope I'm healthy enough to admit that is basically paranoia. The thing is that I do prefer the paper towels, as I'm sure most people do, because they dry you off faster. But I would not miss them if they're gone, and I would not be surprised if they're gone, because when you go to Japan, I don't know, Liam, you have more experience than us, but I remember a lot less paper towels. over there.
Because you're getting your ass blasted by the GTX Ass Blaster 5000 every time.
In a public restroom? You're getting ass blasted in a public restroom?
In Japan, you are.
Oh, yeah, they have bidets in public restrooms. Yeah. Otherwise, I never would have known to get one of my own. Got to try them out. Public store demo, you know?
Wait, but other asses have been blasted in that seat. You can't just go on a...
You don't touch it. It doesn't touch you. It just sprays water at you.
I mean, it touches you. It touches you, Liam. It touches you.
The water touches you, not the spout.
I'm gonna say I'm the expert here because I use them every day.
Right.
It doesn't touch you. It's the same as, I would think of it as, you use the same tap that pours water on your hands as other people. Why not have the same ass tap that pours water on your ass?
Okay.
So paper towels are bad for the environment. Toilet paper is not as bad, but still less good for the environment. So I would not be surprised if in the future everyone is just using bidets and air dryers. And I think I could adapt to that. I'm not going to complain too hard.
George, can I ask you, though, a personal question?
Uh-huh.
What would you rather be happening to you? Poo particles or roaches infesting your VR unit?
Poo particles.
There, the man said it. The debate is settled.
Yes.
I believe that people should gradually switch over to air dryers, and I am willing to be among the first to make that sacrifice, as much as I prefer paper towels.
So you won't pre-order games, you won't buy plastic, but you'll buy a fucking air dryer for your fucking bathroom.
Well, I already have an air dryer.
You have an air dryer? What do you tape
I have a hair dryer.
You tape it to the wall and you turn it on? The fucking blow dryer that you use here. you tape it to the wall.
The thing is that I don't dry my hands with my hair dryer, but I could if I wanted to. And that means I have an air dryer in the bathroom. I could tape it on the wall and just like flip the switch and rub my hands together every time. But because I don't,
Possible shock is going to be happening when you flip that switch. Your hands are going to be wet. You're going to flip the switch. The water is going to go in to the little switch. It's not going to be a good experience, George.
Now that's what I call playing the switch. Because we do need to re-promo that. Hey, in case you forgot about it from the beginning of the episode, we are going to be doing a live show in a couple weeks in early January. Final day still has to be decided, but it will be among those first 2 weeks, where we're going to be doing our awards show. We're going to be giving away t-shirts and game codes. And we're going to start by promoting the Twitter account a bit by asking you to submit us photos of you listening to the podcast in an interesting setting.
Yes, if you want to be eligible to win one of the beautiful Dad Select shirts or long sleeve shirts, like the one that George is wearing right now that you cannot see, follow.
But you will in a couple weeks.
You will in a couple of weeks. Follow Dad and Sons Pod on Twitter, and then post a photo to us on Twitter of you listening to the show in an interesting or novel setting with your media device. Don't worry, you don't have to show your face or anything. Just an interesting way of listening to the show. And you will automatically be entered to win a game code of your choosing between our top indie games of the year, which happens to be Hades, Ikenfell, and Noita, and also a wonderful Dad Select shirt. That's it.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
We did a contest. We're professionals. Let's do this. Let's go. Dorito Popes for life.
Speaking of professional, I think now should be a good time to cue in our end song by the professionals.
Oh, we have a band? Oh my god, there it comes. Wow, we have a live band in the studio today.